We got Alex Hernandez back here on the program. He's going to be taking on Olivier Aubin-Mercier at UFC on Fox 30 on July 28th. Alex, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's good to catch up with you again. Now, where am I getting you today? I see you're in the car. You heading to the gym?
Yeah, that's what I said. We're having some issues with pulling up. I was just leaving lunch. I'm about to run to a PT appointment and then back to the gym.
Good stuff, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy guy, and I got to ask right off the bat, how has life been since winning your UFC debut? I mean, that couldn't have gone better. We talked about it after the fight. How have things been since then?
Life's great, dude. Good to great. Just keep getting better. I got no complaints.
Yeah, I know you were doing some cross training as well, right?
Yeah, I was traveling a little bit. Kind of working with some guys in California at a training lab. I work with Daryl Christian. He's a wrestling coach at a training lab, and so I pick up with him and pick up some new techniques and then bring it back home and re-implement and rehearse. And so a little bit here and there, but mostly here in town in San Antonio. A little bit New Braunfels, of course, too.
That's excellent, man. And you get another top-flight opponent in Olivier Aubin-Mercier. And this fight's going to be in Canada, in Calgary. Did you know anything about Calgary before you took this fight?
No, dude. I just figured it's the land of moose and maple. Didn't really know anything else about Canada. It's crazy, dude. So I'm so fucking ignorant. I thought Canada was a bunch of, like, beady-eyed white people. I went there for a trip to Vancouver for the EA Sports, the game. Vancouver's one of the coolest cities I've ever been to in my entire life. Super diverse. I kept forgetting where I was at the airport. There are so many. The airport's filled with Asian people for the most part. I don't know. It's just kind of a knack in Vancouver, and it's so eclectic. It's crazy, and so there's so many different accents, so many different folks, and so I mean it was beautiful to be over there in Vancouver and meet all the people. It's way cleaner than back home, and way friendlier, and there's a lot going on, and so it's awesome. I hear Calgary is not quite as cool, but still a nice place to be. I hear it's more like Texas in the sense that it's like land of the Cowboys and Rangers, and so I'm excited about it. Either way, I think Canada's fucking awesome, so I'm happy to be up there. And it's a short trip.
I was going to say it's also like Texas because it's oil country out in Alberta as well, too. I don't know if you know that. A lot of their money comes from oil out there, so a lot of similarities between Texas and there. You mentioned going to the EA Sports facility and stuff in Burnaby. How was that? Because I know that's a pretty cool experience to check out the behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was the coolest. Those dudes probably have the coolest job in the world. They're at EA, and I guess they'd say the same. But it was an awesome experience. Went in there and did some body photo scans and prototypes and did the same with the facial recognition. Then we got to put on those suits. Those suits are so badass. They're, I don't even know what the word would be for it, but essentially they track all your movements like a tracer suit. And they'll have you run through routines, and you can see on the computer monitors, kind of like your little virtual guy moving, and of course replicating all your mannerisms. And so it was super awesome to see. I've never seen anything that techy and to that magnitude. So it was awesome. It was a great experience. Again, the EA guys were extremely hospitable, awesome to be around, and so they treated us right. I plan on making a little pit stop after the victory in end of July, back over there to Vancouver for a little bit, say what's up to those boys. So it was an awesome experience.
So does this mean you're in the game then?
You bet your dick I'm in the game, James.
Yeah, well,
coming out on that new update.
Well, I was gonna say because I know sometimes guys have gone down there and they still don't end up in the game for whatever reason. So that's good to hear you're in.
No, fuck that noise. I didn't go there fucking dressed up, ballerina, and skip for no reason, dude. I'm definitely in that game. But I think it should be the update coming. I'd imagine sometime around the fight. It's the fucking damnest thing too. I kept meaning to ask them when's the update, and for whatever reason I got sidetracked with better conversation. I just never got around to it. But I imagine it's coming sooner than later. I expect sometime right after this fight or before the fight. All my buddies in the gym are like, we can't wait to knock you the fuck out with your guy.
Those are some good friends right there.
Send you videos of him like that's exactly what the team needs. But yeah, I should be in it.
So you're taking on the Canadian gangster, Olivier Aubin-Mercier. I know you said that's an oxymoron. What exactly, what are your thoughts on him as an opponent?
I think he's a fine fellow. He's a good guy. I'm just not threatened by him at all. And I think it'll be an exciting fight just because you got two really young up-and-comers. He's on a good fight-win streak. I'm, of course, on a good fight-win streak and had that debut blowout. And so it's exciting for the fans to watch and be a good kind of lay of that next generation look. I just think I'm leaps and bounds ahead of them, and really a true replication, a true indication rather of kind of where the sport's moving, where I feel like maybe he's a little bit more stagnant in his game and where he's going to be at. So I'm excited to put that on display.
Good stuff, man. And how is training camp going, and who have been some of your main training partners for this camp?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. I got to get with some of the work there at the training lab. Had some of those guys kind of play with, but same old squad back home. A lot of lefties. I still mix in a little bit of everyone because I just want to be ready for anything. But we have some world champ jiu-jitsu practitioners, world grapplers that I've had come in, and then of course very rangeful strikers that I like to play with. So it's been a good diversity of folks in there, and you can see it. It's really the same faces you see on my Instagram all the time. Washington Lutz, Weeper Pony, Ray Rodriguez, Chris Frazier, played Alex Gilpin a bit, and just getting. And then I'll have all of other wrestlers like Daryl Christian, Bill Durney, guys that are pretty big on the wrestling scene that I have come in and kind of give me some looks at some situations. Some judo folks that I have play with him because I know he likes to get the judo aspect. He's a little bit more proficient in.
Yeah, and you mentioned Alex Gilpin. He's been on a roll lately. I saw he got that fight on Contender Series. That must have been pretty cool.
Yeah, my boy's going to Contender. I'm stoked for it. I'm so excited for it. It's awesome. Yeah, he's going to do great. And so that's one of my old coaches brought up. He's saying how cool that is too. That he's about to be on a Contender because we grew up together, and so we wrestled together as kids coming up, and we were always one weight class apart, and we'd always, we were each other's number one partner, and we kind of developed each other to the athlete that we grew to. And so it's awesome to see him doing his thing and making it the way he's making it, and vice versa. And he was there with me on my last fight. I had him fly out and work with me that week and kind of be a little bit of my Dariush. And so, I couldn't be more excited for that guy. He's going to kill it.
How about the weight cut? Has that process started already?
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. Just eating and training and always being on point. Weight cut's never an issue for me now. I'm always right where I need to be. The more I travel, the more I see these guys that struggle with it, and they're out of weight, and they're coming back down to weight, and they're trying to find their footing and their technique and their placement, and just it's like trying to figure out your own body for the first time again before the fight. There's no sense to that. So I stay right where I need to be always, and then just do a little trim right before. But I like to always stay pretty close to where I need to be for that cut.
How do you see this fight unfolding on July 28th?
I'm going to control the tempo. I might give him a little lenience to get his footing, get his ground, and extend some punches, and then I'm going to counter with my right and render him unconscious. So it will be the right hand that does him away.
Where do you feel like a win over Olivier puts you? Because you got the win over Dariush, which was huge. That got you in the top, the rankings. Where do you feel like a win situates you after this fight?
Just continue the crescendo. The way I kind of look at it is it's broken down into 3 tiers, probably the top 5, 6 to 10, and then the 11 to 15 bracket. So I took out Dariush, take out Aubin, that's 2 in that bottom, that 3rd tier, move up to the next middle tier, maybe wipe out another 2 there, and then climb up to the top tier. And then I'll have one more fight, and then I'll fight for the title. And so it's just a natural part of the progression. I think it's perfect. Perfect fight. It's all part of the plan. So
excellent. Aside from the fact that your debut went so well, I think one of the other reasons people really liked it was, your post-fight speech. And I know in interviews, people are watching this now. You're very entertaining. Is pro wrestling something you'd ever look into down the line, just as a second option as far as a career?
Shut your mouth. Absolutely not. Unless I just bombshell like Rhonda, she wants to let me in the back door. I have no intention of ever being a pro wrestler. I'd probably deviate in about 18 other avenues before I do that. Nothing against those boys. They are brave souls who can do it, but I've already got enough miles on my back and plan to put plenty more on before I'm done. And I think pro wrestling would probably put an end to my lifespan, I feel like. And I can't quite act like that. I just don't have the charisma. But no. I'll run the company. I'll sit next to Dana before I sit next to Kurt Angle.
Okay, fair enough. Did you never watched it growing up at all?
No, I had a few buddies that were real into it. I was never that into it. I played the video game. It was fun. Yeah, as a kid. But no, I was never a big WWE fan. I got respect for them, though, more so now as I'm older and I see the men behind it. But yeah, I never really watched it myself.
Well, what are you doing now for downtime? I know you're a busy guy. Are you watching any Netflix or playing any video games, anything like that?
Yeah, there's just not a lot of downtime. I try to stay, from sun up to sundown, I'm like a monk. Just constantly inundated in the sport. I'm constantly moving. If I'm not active, I'm actively recovering, and I'm doing some kind of rehabilitation. And so at night, I would try to turn things off and put something lighthearted on, so that way I could tune out. And I kind of even stopped doing that because I didn't feel a need to it anymore. But truthfully, maybe I need to get a fucking dog or something. I was telling someone about that, just something to take my mind off. But I'll watch Little City. Like sometimes at night, if I just need something to kind of cool off, I'll put like The Office on or something on the background. Californication. I'll put something easy on in the back that I could kind of just like null my mind out to and not overthink anything. Because during the day, I might be watching tapes or footage and listening to podcasts on my drives. Like right now, in between little stops, I try not to spend too much time in the car. But moving from New Braunfels to San Antonio is a bit of a trip, so I feel like I'm constantly just saturated with this information. So something silly is nice at the end of the day. I'm watching a Tarantino film right now. I'm finishing up Jackie Brown. Yeah, so just little things. I try not to start too many series because it's such a commitment. And then even if I don't have the time, I make that time. It'll be 1, 2 a.m. and I'm in there grinding it out on my Netflix binge, just hating myself the next day. So I try not to put that kind of commitment forward unless I'm like out with an injury or something that inhabilitate me from getting off that couch.
I hear you, man. Well, everyone's got to tune into this fight. It's UFC on Fox 30 coming up here July 28th. Alex, it's always good talking to you, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, man.
Thank you, brother. The Great 155 across the board. Ohana Academy is a fun one to watch, and trying strength and conditioning. I love my physical therapists, the Stratton Sport and Spine, and Quantum Chiropractic. So really, that's about it across the board.